This message is for you rich, white, feminist liberals. Stop telling people from the lower socioeconomic group like myself how to think, what to do, how to act, how to talk, who to believe in. And with this nonsense with the black church that I just got done seeing on Twitter, actually, it's all over the place. You have this church who claims to represent Jesus Christ calling black people, literally calling black people, ignorant Negroes, stupid Negroes, ignorant, stupid Negroes. This black pastor is going to get up there and run his mouth about people like me that have families, that work hard, that bust our butts every doggone day of the week. And he's going to call me a stupid, ignorant Negro? I wonder how much was a donation? How much did Kamala donate to your church to disparage people that look just like you? These rich, liberal feminists will stop at nothing to get power, folks. That's what they want. They want power. They want the power. They could care less about you. That's why you still have the same ghettos you've been sitting in for the last 7 decades in Philadelphia. Take a ride down Kensington Avenue and tell me how many zombies you see. Get out of here. These people need to shut their mouths and let us be our own people, our own American way, our own families, our own way of life. This woman has every endorsement from every rich white liberal or rich liberal black person out there. All the rich people are voting for her, while people like you and me are sitting on the sidelines fighting over the scraps that we get after the illegal immigrants get their cut.
Shout out to A.G. Robinson. What's going on, everybody? Appreciate you guys pulling up. I found that I had to play it because he's absolutely right. You get these liberals out here, especially, these white liberal women, and they get out here and they say some of the craziest things, and they try to act like they're on the side of black folks and, melanated people in general here in the country. And we know that they're not. They'll pander. They'll do whatever they need to do to get your vote. They'll say whatever they need to say to get your vote. But their policies are wicked. Their policies are divisive and demonic. Simple as that. And I'm glad that there are a lot of people that are starting to wake up, although there's still a bunch of people on that Democratic plantation, and they're still using their tactics to shame folks like me and Gene and so many others, to shame us, for not being on the plantation. I can't say that I was ever really on it like that, but there's a few people that have been. But folks are fed up. They want the real. They want the truth. And we as Americans, we need to stop allowing them to put us in boxes. We're not a monolith just because, you have a certain amount of melanin or you don't have. We're not a monolith. We are Americans, and we should have the ability to function in our freedom as we see fit. When you got situations like what's going on in Atlanta right now, where you have a young lady who owns a restaurant down in Lenox, and because she had the Republican candidate, Rick Jackson, at her restaurant, she didn't endorse him. He didn't say that she endorsed him. But yet you have these folks, liberals, trying to say that folks need to boycott her restaurant, so forth and so on. But on the flip side, we'll turn around and say that we're for small business. Which one is it? They want you to do nothing more than go along to get along. You're not allowed to think freely on that side of things. They say they're tolerant, but they're the least tolerant people in the country. They say they're nonviolent, but they have shown themselves to be the most violent people in the country. We got a lot to get into, man. We're going to start with another white liberal woman saying something extremely crazy. Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Let's get into it.
Black people are being lynched all around the country right now.
No, they're not. Not at all.
And where do they get this from? And why do they think that we as black men, black people are supposed to walk around this nation on pins and needles, afraid of anyone? I don't understand it. I grew up in the South, man. I grew up in a house where, my grandfather, and my pops believed 100% in the 2A. I grew up in houses with shotguns on the rifle. I don't know what these people are talking about. Seriously, I really don't. Somebody answer that for me. Like, what are these people talking about?
The truth is there were 4 separate incidents where black men hung themselves in an apparent suicide. It was investigated over and over again. It was investigated by outside agencies. no foul play. If these men were actually lynched, there is crime scene, there is forensics, everything that was shown that they were lynched. They weren't, it was a suicide. That's all that was. However, leftists and liberals are now crying wolf and saying the sky is falling and saying that, oh, here it goes, we're back. Lynchings are coming back. No, the truth is you want lynchings to come back. You want hate crimes against black folks. You want a return to the Jim Crow South. You want a return to everything that happened during the civil rights struggle. You want Reconstruction back because it gives you something to fight for. You want to be able to go out there and march and say that you're fighting against something because you need some sort of purpose to your life. Meanwhile, none of that is going on. In fact, black folks have it better right now in 2026 than at any point in history. That's continued progress. And instead of celebrating that, no, you want a return to all kinds of murders and everything else going on because it gives you something to be angry about. It gives you something to fight over.
What they really want is you to be angry, upset, and afraid. See, the Democrat Party plays on fear. Hey, you got to vote for us because we're the ones that's going to stop all of these lynchings. When in all actuality, when you look at it from a historical standpoint, it was the liberals that was implementing the liberals. It was the liberals that was keeping people from being able to vote in the way that they would like to vote. These people conveniently act like we don't know history. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people that won't go and take the time to do the research to figure out who the party of slavery was, who the party of the Triple K, who was the party of redlining, who was the party of Jim Crow. They won't take the time to go and do that. But they're willing to get out here, you know what I'm saying, and fearmonger folks. Again, if they can't force you on the plantation, they will scare you back to the plantation. That is their goal.
Of so many people, mainly men, who have been arrested. Race, white. And you can go to this website. It's for all the New Jersey mugshots and put in the race white. And you're going to see several non-white men. Imagine if they did this in reverse. Imagine if white men were getting arrested and being put down as black as their race. The left would flip out. And this is quietly happening across the nation. So all those statistics about black and brown men committing a disproportionately high amount of violent crime, it's actually worse. We have to start facing reality because this is a problem.
Okay, so here we are on the State of New Jersey Department of Corrections. This is their website where you can just go and you can search for mugshots of who's in jail. So for the filter, all I did was put in white with dark hair. And the reason why I selected dark hair is because if you just put in white, it says it's too many results. So this is white with dark hair. So let me just show you this here. Look, do these people look white to you? Just take a look here. Let's just scroll down and I open some of these so you can see. Now this is just the first page. So I'm going to go over people that are booked as white that are just on the first page. And keep in mind, look down here. See where it says race, white? Pay attention to that as we go through them. Does this guy look white to you? Let's go to the next one. Does that guy look white to you? I think he's more potentially Mexican. Alvarez Juan is white. Let's go here. We have this guy, I don't know.
I guess maybe they're self-identifying as white. Maybe, maybe they're just like, hey, the same way, these fools can identify as a woman or identify as a man. Maybe they're, identifying as a separate race. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. This is crazy, man. You can't make this stuff up.
Why do you guys hate when Black Americans identify as being Black American?
The self-hate is unbelievable. I've said this, a multitude of times. Yeah, I may be, a highly melanated individual, but I'm an American. My family's, from, my parents, my grandparents, my great-grandparents, great-grandparents from this country. Trace our lineage right here. We are Americans. Simple as that.
Like I had on the Made in America shirt on one of my videos like 2 days ago and it's going viral and everybody's calling me in the comments because of the shirt, because of my antics. I don't know if it was coming off as a conservative. So it gave, which honestly, respectfully, I don't care. I just love the conversation that like appreciating being an American makes you a Black Americans built America. What? How dare you say if anything, I am the closest thing to representing what it looks like to be a Black American. I'm a Black girl from America. My ancestors are American. My ancestors are Native. You guys don't want Black Americans to appreciate the fact that they are Black.
No.
And from America. Let's call a spade a spade. That's why African American exists, because you believe that all of us are from Africa. This is not me trying to even start diaspora wars either, but if you are able to say that one or two of your grandparents or great grandparents are from another country, then that's your reality. Then yes, you can say, oh, I'm African, I'm this, I'm that. Me, I cannot say that. All of my ancestors from the moment that I know of are either Native or Black. Yes, I do have like Samoan great grandparents, but that's not my culture. That's not my consideration. When I see myself, I'm a Black American because my culture is Black. My ancestors are Black. Africa spans so far away from me. That's just my reality though. And that doesn't take away from anybody else's reality. If you are or do have African culture that close to you, I just don't have it.
If you travel outside of this country and speak, when they hear your accent, they immediately say, oh, you're an American. They're not going to say you're Black American, white American, Hispanic American, Asian American. No, you are an American. That is your nationality. That is the country that you were born in. You are an American. We're one of the few places, if not maybe the only place in the world that hyphenates the nationality, which is completely unnecessary, because the reality of it is that if you were to go to another country, go to another continent, whether it's Europe or Africa or Asia, I promise you, you will have more in common with another American who may happen to be less melanated than you. You're going to have more in common with that individual than anybody else, in this country, regardless of how much or how little melanin they may have. They want you to dislike being an American because they want you on the train to destroy America. I'm going to say it now. I'm going to keep saying it. This is the last bastion of hope. If these communist, Marxist individuals get their way, there's nowhere to run. There's no other country to flee to once they get their way. You guys better pay attention, man, and do not fall for their foolishness.
This conversation gets messy because people keep mixing race, nationality, and ethnicity. She's Black by race and American by nationality. That's the fact. Black American can also describe the culture she actually grew up in. That does not erase African ancestry. But ancestry and present-day identity are not always the same thing, which I totally agree with. People should be allowed to describe their own culture without being insulted, but people should also at least read up on topics they want to come online and speak about and learn the distinction before turning identity into another diaspora war.
I can agree with this, brother, and I can appreciate where he's coming from. We need people to just accept the fact that you are an American and appreciate that you are part of the 4% of the world. Only 4% of people are born in this country. 4% have the ability to get one of those blue passports. Being an American means that you hit the birthplace lottery. There's no other place like it. And the way things are going, there's not going to be another place like it. Appreciate this country, man, before it's gone. Seriously.
Charlie Kirk once said that the Black community was better off than we are now.
It shows they were actually better in the 1940s. But what happened? Something changed.
And he was entirely right. And here's why.
Charlie Kirk said Black men like you were better off during slavery. Do you agree with him?
Wait, you were better off slavery. Let me explain, because maybe you don't know Black history. No. You don't understand Black history, and you don't understand what Charlie was saying. Listen, after slavery, there was an explosion of success in the Black community. We had Black Wall Street. We were married to the women we had children with. Black people had a tremendous amount of success. Our success was growing faster than white people during that period of time. Now look at us. Now go look at any inner city in this country and you see people getting murdered every weekend.
Yes, many Black Americans are unaware today that after slavery ended during the Reconstruction period, Black Americans went on to build prosperous cities all around America known as Black Wall Streets, where we owned all the land and we owned every business and home on that land. These cities were completely self-sufficient. Our money circulated 9 or 10 times in our own economy before it ever left. These cities would have been valued at billions of dollars today, with multiple Black entrepreneurs that would have been considered millionaires by today's standard. We built the American dream for ourselves, even facing segregation and oppression. And do you know what happened? White mobs from the Democratic Party came and destroyed Black Wall Street within 24 hours. Yes, Democrats destroyed the Black wealth and self-sufficiency, only for a few years later for Democrat President FDR to offer the first welfare system, and we took it. You know why? For survival. For the first time in history, the majority of Black Americans voted Democrat, and this was for survival reasons. But nobody ever talks about this. We never recovered, and we were never able to build back our self-sufficiency and independence because all of our insurance claims were denied by the insurance company aligned with the Democratic Party. Many Black Americans have no idea about this history. All we know is that today we are aligned with the Democratic Party and we associate ourselves as Democrats, not knowing that ever since we began to identify ourselves as Democrats in the 60s, our communities have never recovered. I speak about this in more detail and many other things in my best-selling book, How the Democrats Won the Black from Physical to Mental Slavery.
Go check the brother's book out. There's a lot of truth in what he was saying. Although out in Tulsa, Greenwood was rebuilt, and there was a host of other places that was never actually burnt down, and they existed. The problem is during the civil rights movement, we had the Iron Triangle, the Black politician, the community organizers, and the Black pastors, and they created an allegiance with liberals and communists. And they sold folks a bad bill of goods. And it's a bad bill of goods people are still paying for today. Although there are people that are starting to wake up and realize that, hey, we were sold a bad bill of goods. We can't do this anymore. And it's time to do something different. Now, I've been saying this for quite some time on this platform, is that things could change, I would say, 5 to 10 years if we can increase marriage rates, decrease the out of wedlock births, get off the Democratic plantation, get off the Democratic teat where they give you just enough to survive, never enough to thrive. Start taking agency, start calling out the shenanigans, start calling out the bad behavior in some of these communities, hold folks accountable, or ostracize those people, one or the two. And make up in your mind, make a decision that you want more. And most importantly, turn back to God, turn back to the scriptures, because those folks that came up out of slavery were devout Christians. They believed in the word of God. They followed the instructions of the word of God, and the progress happened at a very rapid race. Once folks turn away from God, man, hey, your progress slows, if not comes to a halt. We've got a chance to see it in real time. I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on to all so you never miss an upload. Consider joining the ARP family. Support what we're doing over here. Or you can buy your brother a coffee. That link's in the description box below as well. The Cash App works. I'm also starting a YouTube mastermind group. If you are interested in learning how to grow on this platform, if you already have a podcast, if you're already doing this, but you're struggling, you're trying to figure out how to get monetized, you're trying to figure out how to maneuver within the YouTube system, the link is in the description box below. Join. We do it once a month. We meet once a month for about 90 minutes. I'm here and I'm to answer any question that you may have. You'll be a part of a community of people that are doing the exact same thing that you're attempting to do. If you're interested, hit me up. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. And as always, keep God first. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you guys next time. Peace.
It is God who arms me with strength. Yeah, I'm battle ready. He trains my hands for battle. My heart stays steady. But thanks be to God, he gives us the victory. Through my Lord Jesus Christ, it can't live in me. I was down to the dirt, red clay on my shoes, old pain in my shirt, oh so bruised. Then the Lord hit my chest, kicked air from my breath, put power in my step.